Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the series Flashback Sunday. In today's video, we will be looking into the water march with Ramesses and the support Dido. And if you guys remember back in the days, I think it was only a brief period when Attila was very broken. Dido did get a buff, energy region buff, and back then it was like 1 month or 2 months where this water team were really good. It could be Holy team back in the days, it could be Shadow team back in the days, it could even beat Earth team back in the days. It was really good back then. I think it was pre, EA, the artifacts, immortal artifacts era, because back in the days you had Attila with high chance of silencing the enemy team, and then somehow, some way, the devs actually reworked Attila and nerf him significantly. He's no longer that OP. If I were to say how OP he was back then, I would compare him to Alex nowadays. How OP he is, how flexible he is. Back then you saw Attila in even Holy March, you saw Attila in the Shadow March. Attila was really broken, and the silence was really OP. And in today's video, I hope I can bring back the flashback of what kind of march this was back then, and test it with today's skill set and see how well it will do in today's meta if we are going to use this kind of march in today's meta. So let's start with the skill. Attila, back then we used Fighting Master, Death Breath, and Energy Burst. That was very good back then. You could crit a lot. Energy Burst wasn't nerfed back then because every time you crit you get another 100 energy region points, and then that was it didn't have like a cooldown on it, so you can basically every time he death breath proc and it actually crit, you're gonna see that Attila gonna gain a lot of energy, and that's why his kit was broken back then, and the devs had to nerf him. I wish they bring him back though, because it was a very good time for water teams. And if it was the case where Attila were to come back at that same state, I think Attila gonna be very strong again. And if you look at the new skills, I would probably put him today. If it works, still gonna be work like before, I would probably use Time to Shine with the Death Breath and Energy Burst. I think that could be something to work around his ultimate. But if you're not, you're probably looking into more supporting role, where he probably gonna use Weakness Aura, and gonna probably use Fighting Master, and then probably Chaos Storm for those who have it. If not, I would just recommend you use Adrenaline Rush or something like that. As for Ramesses, I think Ramesses is a very good immortal, and I think he's a very cool immortal as well. I always wanted Ramesses in my team when I had water during the beginning of the my time with IK. And when I eventually got him, I think I liked him so much. But what I think that really made him irrelevant for the current meta is definitely Alex and the Earth team, but also the artifacts. I think his artifact is decent, not that special, not that good, but it's useful for him. But keep in mind the 35% or 30% damage reduction, the disarm he has in his skill. I think that is not enough in today's meta and kind of gameplay. If it was back then, this was very OP, and people were running Fighting Will, physical shield and an aura, for example, like Berserk, or somebody use Malice. You know, that was a very good combo back then for Shieldman, and you can use this kind of combo on, for example, Peter if you want, and Saladin if you want. But yeah, back then this one was very very good, very popular. In today's meta, I probably use Toxin Barrier, Spare Impale would be good here, or if you want to use the Bladeboard Hex Executioner combo, you can definitely do that. But for me, Ramesses was never the main damage dealer. He could do damage, but he was more like a utilizer immortal that we had to use him as a frontline. Now let's take a look at the backliners. Backliners, we have Merlin and Dido. I think these two together back then was very very good. The amount of damage they managed to do, like Dido supporting with the shield for Merlin's ultimate, was really really good. And Merlin's skill set back at the time, I think it was Concentration, Annihilation, and Toxin Nova. Somebody used Chase as well because they had a better artifact. And you know, if you want to control immunity, you use Fighting Master. It was very good until, you know, the nerf of Attila. That was kind of like the breaking point for water, and after that it became kind of like, you know, not useful anymore in the meta. It was still doing okay, but you couldn't do amazing stuff like fighting Earth Marches, fighting Holy and Shadows. So that thing doesn't work anymore, unfortunately. In today, you're probably gonna use, you know, Psionic Tide. You're probably gonna use Battle Stance and Corrosive Power. I think that would be like the ideal for Merlin because his ultimate is very good. I'm gonna show you guys later in this game or in this video. So, and you know, show you guys how the ultimate works and stuff. As for Dido, very standard, you know, support build right here. Assist, absolute defense. Somebody use sacrifice. Somebody probably use, you know, malice. Kind of depends, but I prefer sacrifice. And then at a later point, we had, you know, Wine and Dine, which was, you know, a pretty good addition to support or a team like that. You know, that's what I'm gonna try to say. But in nowadays, you're gonna use the standard support, you know, skills, Spring of Life, Purifications, Energy Shield, Vitality Touch, and of course you have the No Escape. I think that would be very crucial for the water team with the No Escape. So in today's probably gonna run like Spring of Life, No Escape, and probably Assist. I don't know if I want to run, you know, the old school stuff, but we can do that as well to test that out, and then we try the new skill afterwards, so we can see how much of difference it kind of makes from this March, original March back then to today's, you know, current meta, and see how it works against that. Now let's take a look in the game, and this is setup I set for my water March. And if you guys wonder why I'm not using my main account, I accidentally deleted a lot of Ramesses fragments, also Dido fragments, so I'm, you know, way behind that. I didn't, you know, I forgot about that when I was making this video, so I had to use my alt account where I had the skill set ready. I haven't changed anything in the past 2 or 3 years, so this is an alt that I have been having for a very long time, and you can see here that my skill setup is very similar to what I've been using from, you know, back then. And in today, I have been using it. I've been trying it out a little bit in Arena as well, and it seems to be working okay, decently, not too good, but not bad at all. But it's definitely not a main mod material anymore. I would say it's more of like sentimental mod, more of like fourth or third mod at best, I would say. I think there are a lot of better options right now. And you can see here, it's doing okay. The setup is doing okay. The skill set is doing okay. You can see here it's building another water mod with like, probably similar STP as well. So you can see here the report's gonna be looking something like this. Attila doing some good damage. Ramesses is doing okay damage. Merlin is a main carry. Dido will support Merlin, and if it's chill, the damage is there. The damage is definitely very, very good. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about this mod, or I was until, the EAs, the artifact, entered the game and kind of like ruined the water mod completely, especially with Alex being this super strong, one of the meta immortals that have been meta for like the past 3 years, basically since the artifact arrived. So yeah, water mod, I think, it's a very good mod to use as a utility mod. I wouldn't use it as a main mod. I wouldn't start with water mod if I knew what I knew today, and I was gonna start over again. I'm probably not gonna start with water mod. I'm probably gonna try to start with earth or even fire mod to get a good start to the game. Water, it has very good looking characters, has very cool characters as well, and a lot of people would probably prefer water mod as a main mod, but if you want to try to be relevant from the get-go, I think water mod is like a trap that the game is setting you up for when you are starting the game. So you see here it's doing okay, it's doing what it should be doing decently, and you can see here it's still struggling against like a half finished earth, and you can see the main reason why right here, why a lot of people are looking away from water or made a transition to something else during the time of gameplay. So yeah, that's a little bit about the water mod flashback. Let's take a look at them against the gnomes. You can see here that it still works against gnomes, but in my opinion, it's losing way too much. Maybe that is because I haven't upgraded any gears. They're level 50, but I haven't have gems to upgrade the gears as well. No artifact right on a lot of these, upgraded on these immortals. So I do miss a lot, but I was just gonna say, like, if you're sentimental about the water mod from way back then, and you try to make something that reminds you of your time in the beginning of the game, I think this is a very good mod to start off, and use as your third and fourth mod, utility mod. But as the main mod, I do strongly suggest that you move away from this. Although it's a good flashback and it was very OP back then, the meta changed so much that this mod has become pretty irrelevant in today's meta, today's gameplay. A lot of people are using earth, some kind of stuff. So you can see here as well in my old account, like the old account right here, that I transitioned to hybrid as well. So water was good for I would say the first year of the game, and then after that it became very, very painful to use since the EA came and Earth became like a really, really strong mod to beat. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the flashback videos. I plan to make more of them in the future. And for today, water mod, Ramesses, Dido, Merlin, Attila, very, very strong back then, very broken until Attila got nerfed, and the EA came, and it became a little bit painful to use. But yeah, that being said, it was really enjoyable to actually touching back on the older matches that we used to use and how good it was really back then, and try it in today's meta. You can there's one of the reasons why, you know, a lot of people are try to go back to their old school, you know, match, but they can't because, you know, even with today day and age skills, I don't think it's gonna be really helpful in this kind of match like water with Ramesses and Dido. Maybe you need like a swap some immortals like Ramesses or Attila for Ragnar, or maybe Dido for somebody like, let's say here, somebody like Artemisia, if I have it here. Artemisia. There we go, 3 stars. I would probably prefer her over Dido nowadays because of her guaranteed to shield right there. So that's gonna be very good. Although she might work better for Margaret, but I think that is very good substitute if you are going to use this kind of match, which I've seen some, but it's very rare nowadays. So yeah, that being said, thanks you guys watching for this video and this kind of content. If you guys like this, you know, Flashback Sunday content, please give it a like so I can, you know that you guys actually like this kind of content where we go back into the time and test out the older builds, test out the older comps, and see how they do in today's meta. Have a good day, guys. See you guys in the next video.